Hang on. Let me pull my notes up. False start.
Oh, I'm like half dead.
All right. All right. Here we go. Real start. All right. Welcome, everybody. This is the Marvel Minute on episode 151 of Weird Science DC Comic Podcast. I am Brandon, as always, joined by Trevitt. Trevitt, what's up, man?
Nothing much. Just woke up.
We're coming at you Sunday morning, pre-NFL schedule time. I've already got 2 FanDuel and DraftKings in. So yeah, I've had a good Sunday morning so far. We're going to talk a little Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows. Number 13, the first legacy issue, and this might bring my morning down a little bit. But anyway, we got another creative team taking over this book. This time it is going to be written by Jody Houser, art team of Nick Roche and Ruth Redmond. Marvel Comics production. These guys are following up Slott and Adam Kubert, Jerry Conway and Ryan Stegman, and then Ryan Stegman on writing duties with Nathan Stockman and Brian Lavelle, on to who I just mentioned, Jody Houser and Nick Roche. So yeah, we keep going down the ladder here as far as creative teams go. This one involves a time jump. So we're going to get into the blurb and let you know what's going on here. Well, what'd you say?
I said we're at the bottom of the barrel now.
Yeah, I feel like Jody. I know Jody Houser. Doesn't they? Is it a boy or a girl?
I am not sure because that's
I thought that was an artist, though. Is what I'm trying to get to.
Oh no, she does like faith in the future force, which she does a good job on, a really good job. But okay. I think it's a she for some reason. I want to say a she.
Yeah, I would imagine the writer of the Faith book is a girl.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, we're moving on to our 4th creative team in 13 issues, and I'm thinking that a little. I can't fucking read today. It's too early. Let's try this again. Or I wrote it wrong, and now I know what Jim goes through when he reads my emails. Well, we're moving on to our 4th creative team in 13 issues, and I'm thinking that a little much personally. I got it. And I'm thinking that's a little much personally and does not bode well for the overall life of the book. I can't read well. But what the hell do I know other than my enjoyment for the book has declined with each subsequent creative change. So let's pop in here to Legacy issue number 13 and see what's cooking with the Spider family. So the issue starts up with Annie taking on a version of the Sinister Six. We got Electro, male Electro, not Elektra. We got old school Doc Ock, Raven. I'm sorry, not Raven. Craven and Vulture, Mysterio, and Sandman. And they're all going at Spiderling here. And she's having an identity crisis at the same time with her name being Spiderling now that she's, would they skip ahead? 8 or 10 years? I forget.
8 years. 8 years.
8. Okay, yeah. So I think she was 10 when before the time jump, so now she's like 18, or she was 8 and now she's what?
I think she was 8, so she's 16.
Okay,
she's
so
a sophomore in high
now.
school.
All right, that all lines up. So we got a 16-year-old Spiderling who doesn't like the name Spiderling anymore while she's taking on the Sinister Six. Kind of a little bit of a goofy beginning, and because of the lack of background and stuff in previous issues where it's hinted at that she'd be going to the school with the X-Men. You kind of get the idea this is the danger room. Spider-Man jumps in the fray to kind of help her out a little bit, and they go to attack these villains, and that's when you really get the idea they're in the danger room because it's like a hologram that starts fading through as Annie goes to attack it, and Wolverine comes bursting out. He takes a moment to tell Spiderling to get serious. Now when you're fighting 6-on-1 is not the time to start debating out loud if Spiderling is a good name for a 16-year-old superhero or not. She kind of puts her head down, says, "Sorry, sir." And then Spider-Man and Wolverine kind of have a interesting exchange which they've had previously in this book, kind of about Spiderling. And while they're arguing it out, she kind of just walks off on him, and that's the end of that. We move on to the next scene. You got anything to add there? I mean, to sum it up pretty well.
No, yeah. I mean, you know what? I want to say one thing. This is like the first issue I've seen in a long time, maybe ever, where Wolverine actually looks shorter than everybody else, and it's a little off-putting. I gotta say, he looks like a
he's supposed to be drawn like 5'2"-ish. They never really do that well, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, like Peter's a whole entire head bigger than him. He looks a little midgety.
He does not look threatening at all, even with the mean face. He just looks like
the size of Puck. The size Puck's usually drawn. You know what I'm saying?
That's why they're good friends.
Yeah, maybe you're right. But anyway, we switch scenes here, and now we're checking in on Peter, who's driving Annie home from school. Looks like school's ended for the summer, so they're going back to the apartment in New York. And he's trying to strike up a conversation while her face is buried in the phone. So things aren't really going very well for Peter. He kind of mentions we should have a family fun day before school starts back up, and Annie suggests attending this VR theme park. She's all excited when he's like, all right, let's see what we can do. Flash forward to back at the Spider House, and Peter and MJ are kind of scouring the internet for tickets to this VR theme park, and find it to be, obnoxiously overpriced. I imagine like Disneyland prices, you know what I'm saying? And it's not really something they can afford on their salaries. So Peter ends up, thinking about it for a minute. He still wants to have like a family fun day, and he's going to come up with an idea that's budget friendly. And then these two also discuss and talk about the idea of workshopping new ideas for Spiderling's name. That's a big thing in this issue, I guess, because, Spiderling is not appropriate for a 16-year-old girl. She has a big problem with that. Go ahead.
When he's walking up the wall, the way his sneakers are drawn, like they look like shoes, like the way they're shaped, they look like shoes you would wear with a suit, but they're like sneakers at the same time.
They're like Converse, wingtip Converses.
Yeah, wingtip Converse.
With the rubber toe. And then I also thought, like, Peter's climbing up this wall. He does a backflip from the top of the wall. Like, his knees are going to crush the ceiling, and he's going to land straight on his neck. You know what I'm saying?
That wall does not look tall enough for him to do a flip like that. It just
a backflip. Unless he's walking on the ceiling. I don't know what they're trying to get across here, but yeah, he literally looks like he's doing a backflip and then lands all spider style. MJ's got kind of a big fat mom butt in that one panel. And then we move on. I mean, it's just a boring conversation between those two. We go to family fun day. So I don't know if this involves like another, like towards the end of the summer type deal, or the next day. They don't really mention it. But instead of the VR theme park that Annie wanted, they've just attended basically the small little theme park in Coney Island, which disappoints her. She's not all pumped up for this like she was the VR theme park. Tries to play some games, the stupid old school game with the old school milk jugs. She ends up not knocking them down. Peter's trying to tell her, oh, don't make it obvious you have powers or whatever, and
like she couldn't do it anyway.
Yeah, I know. I don't think she ends up winning, right? She gets like the small prize, not the big prize. If you win, you get the little tiny prize, and she has to pick from all these superhero heads. And Peter's like, yeah, pick Spidey, and she ends up picking Wolverine.
She knocks them all down except for one.
Yeah, which is the only joke I liked in this whole issue.
Yeah, I liked that joke too.
Well, not hit on me physically, but like hit for me. Anyway, we move on from there, and all of a sudden Lizard pops up in the middle of the Coney Island theme park with really no setup or anything. He just comes flying out of nowhere. And they hide behind this sign real quick and all get changed into their gear. And they go to attack the Lizard, and that's our cliffhanger for the issue.
Oh boy. Super good.
So yeah, that was it. Buy, borrow, or forget. Renew your vows. I was, when they first announced the time jump for 8 years later, it was before they announced the creative team.
Yeah.
So I really kind of assumed that one of the original creative teams, preferably for me, Conway and Stegman, were going to kind of be back on the book.
Me too.
And then as the solicits dropped, and I found out it was then going to be the fourth creative team change on this book since the 5 issues from Secret Wars, and this started from issue 1 and All New, All Different. I really kind of lost interest there, and then reading it, I don't have much interest in the future of the title because I don't know. We were discussing things beforehand, and just the way the art's done with the backgrounds and the story level of and the way it's being told, it feels like it's turned into now a book for kind of my daughter, who is 5, and not really a book that I remain interested much in anymore. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of heartbroken really about it because I really enjoyed the callbacks and the throwbacks and the differences in this world at first, and the way it's gone and transitioned has ultimately, by issue 13, turned this into a forget it altogether for me. And I'm really sad and heartbroken about it because you don't get much MJ and Peter action or any at all in the real Marvel universe. So this is where I was going for my fix, and it looks like that's now going away as well. So I'm a little bummed out about it. The cover looks good. That's the best art because the art inside doesn't match it. It gets all goofy and fucking and a little weird. Like, I don't even feel like Peter looks like an older version of Peter. He just looks like somebody different altogether. And yeah, I've lost my attachment, I guess, for it. I don't know. What do you think? I think I'm being a little harsh on it because I know some people might enjoy it.
Yeah,
but with this time skip and the creative change and how it all looks and how the first issue came off, I've now completely just like, I don't even want to give it a few extra issues. I'm just out if it's going to be like this,
Yeah, I thought the time change was going to be cool, make her more of an adult. But the funny part, this is the funny thing, is like, Jesus Christ, this fucking pop up. The more of an adult they made her, the more childish the book got for some reason. I don't understand why.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense. Like, it's like it was more of an adult book when she was an 8-year-old than it is when she's 16.
Yeah.
It just the book.
That's like a point I 150% agree with right there. Like, I couldn't have said it any better myself.
It's really goofy, and it's like a children's book. It reads like a children's book.
Yeah.
I didn't really like it that much. The art, I mean, Brian, but when you come from Brian Level and Ryan Stegman, I mean, this is our 4th new artist and our 3rd new writer, and when from Stegman and Level were really good. I didn't. Stockman's pretty good too.
Yeah, he wasn't bad.
All 3 of those guys are pretty good. Stegman was amazing. And I don't know, it's just so goofy. It's goofy from the art, from the dialogue. Like, it looks like a children's book. It reads like a children's book. Like, when you read it, it's very, I don't know. It feels like a cartoon I would watch. Yeah,
I feel like it's even below like teenage reading level. You know what? I think they were trying to kind of hit that sweet spot, and they went way underneath. Like, it's like
they really did.
8-year-old.
They really did. I don't think
here's the topics covered in this story. I want to change my name from Spiderling. They literally beat that into the ground.
Yeah.
Then I want to go to a theme park. And then we go to a shittier theme park we didn't really want to go to, and boom, a villain pops up, which is your cliffhanger. Like, that is just a boring issue of a comic book. Like, there's nothing to get you invested that happens that makes you want to pick up the next issue. Like, okay, you want to change your name. I don't care what you change it to, but that's not getting me to buy next issue.
No,
the lizard popping up. Yeah, the lizard popping up.
He's a better writer.
Want to buy it? What's different about the lizard? You know what I'm saying?
No. And Jody Houser's a better writer, and you're right. He just pops up at the end. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why. Like, give me a reason why the lizard would want to attack a carnival. Like, it's not like a bank or anything. There's no money there. scientific.
They didn't set up any conflict in the story to make the lizard want to appear. It's like just coincidence they happen to be there while he's there. It shouldn't have even been where they attended that day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What a coincidence. No, it's a forget for me. I wish I had more to say about it, but anything I would have more to say about was just like I have nothing, because I just didn't care. I just didn't care. It wasn't that great. I read it last night, and I read it in 8 minutes, and I took my time. I took my time, and I read it in 8 minutes. I was surprised because it felt longer, and after I was done reading it, I looked at the clock before I did it, because it was about when I was about to go to bed, and it was like 1:58, and then when I was done reading it was like 2:06, 2:07, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Yeah. So that was way quicker than it felt.
Yeah, this was a bummer.
Yeah, it was a real bummer. It was a real bummer. Normally it takes me 15, 20 minutes to read a comic because I take my time. I look at the art, I examine things, but it's 8 minutes, and I did all that. There's just not much to examine.
Yeah.
So it's just not that good.
It is less than the basic level of storytelling going on here, because there's not a story being told. It's, I want a new name, and what are we going to name you? And, whatever. I don't know. Peter makes a joke. Oh, I don't even know if there's any spider names left.
Yeah.
They've made that joke multiple times already.
I'm looking at I just downloaded like a couple issues of the early run on New Year Vows, like 1 to 5, and the art is just surreal and beautiful and amazing, and the dialogue and the story's great. The dialogue's great, but then again, you had Jerry Conway, who's got more experience writing great Spider-Man stories than Jerry Conway. So what are you gonna do? Bring back Jerry Conway. No offense, Jody Houser, you're great. I love your Faith book. It's great, and I love other books that you do, but I'm not big on this right now. I mean, if you're writing it for the children, I guess I could understand that. If you're not writing it for me, then it makes sense that I wouldn't like it. But I mean, it was written for me before. Why isn't it written for me now? That's what I don't understand.
That's why I'm so disappointed too.
Right.
So, yeah, we're gonna wrap this bad boy up because there's not much to discuss really about just some teenage girl wanting a new superhero name and the lizard popping up at the end. So yeah, if you guys are looking for us, we also do the Marvel Madness Comics podcast, where this book will be on there, and 3 others this week, including Captain Marvel, Silver Sable, and help me out with that 4th one, Thanos. So yeah, I'm excited about at least one of those. And and yeah, if you're looking for us personally, you can find me at Beamer3660. Trevitt, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at Afrin Addict.
And we will holler at you guys next week. Polls up on Monday. Ron, please remind me if I forget. And peace out. Later, guys.